everybody, welcome to this month's Working With video. I'm here at Cleveland Bills with their Executive Director, Keith Laschinger. So happy you're joining us. Keith, thank you for joining our monthly video.
Thanks for coming to visit.
Keith is one of the first people I met when I moved to this job, and we've been working together for a number of years now on the Built Environment Collaborative and in many other ways, advancing opportunities for residents in the skilled trades. So really excited to have you here to talk about your work today. Tell me a little bit about your job, your role, and most importantly, Cleveland Bills.
Yeah, so my role here with Cleveland Bills started almost exactly 5 years ago. The organization was founded in March of 2020, not ideal timing. I was brought on as the organization's really first operating executive director in May of 2021, and since that time we've brought 250 people into 18 different trades. And really what the work is about is making sure that people in the community understand the opportunities that exist in union construction. So there's a promotional element to it. And then we're in the training shop here, and obviously training people for opportunities is really important. Most of the folks that we work with have little to no previous experience, so providing an opportunity to get some hands on some tools is really, really important, and just try to build up their confidence as much as we can. And then the job's really about placement.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that it's great if people know about an opportunity and they get trained for it, but if they don't end up working in the industry, then we haven't fully delivered for workers, and so placement is obviously really important. And then the final piece really is support and making sure that people are retained in the industry. And there are a lot of things that go into that, but the work with Renee and the Built Environment Collaborative, really around barrier removal has been really, really important to us.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this program is people come in with little to no exposure, and they get hands-on experience, but they also kind of learn something about themselves and what they might be good at. Because there are lots of options when we talk about the skilled trades.
Yeah.
You kind of go down a number of paths. Talk a little bit more about that part.
Typically when someone starts through our process, they start with the information session, and we go around the room and we ask them what trade they might be interested in, and we typically hear carpenters, electricians, and plumbers, because that's what they know about.
Right.
But there are 15, 16, 17 other trades, and lots of different ways that you can get into the industry. Working as a laborer, a cement mason, or a glazer, or sometimes people know about operating engineers because those are the folks that run the heavy machinery, and it's kind of looks very, very cool. But yeah, we really do spend a lot of time trying to get to know participants and kind of what moves them.
Yeah. We're interviewing you today, but you have an amazing staff here that's really skilled at going through with each participant that process, which is one of my favorite parts of being in workforce development. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the questions that we ask all of our guests on this show. What was your first job?
So I like to consider myself I was a little hustler. I did like a little paper route and mowed lawns and that sort of thing. But I feel like my first real job where I kind of put on a uniform and was expected to show up at a certain time was working at McDonald's. And so I got to work at the front counter, and it taught me a whole lot about working with people.
Yeah, I kind of have a belief that everybody should work in food service at some point. I worked at Panera and at yours truly.
Nice.
Local chain.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's a day like for you now in this job?
And so there's obviously a management element. There's also the marketing and promotional element that I oversee, and we want to make sure a lot of the business we do is face-to-face, but an awful lot of it gets done through social media and making sure that we're educating people about the opportunities here. Spending time getting to know some of the larger project owners in town is also really important. One of the project owners that we're getting to know a little bit better right now is the Haslam Sports Group. Obviously, a big stadium is going to be built here, and they're moving dirt around right now. But they want to provide opportunities for 100 new apprentices. I don't know if I told you that, but that's an exciting number. And sometimes on a project like that, they talk about apprentices on a job, and that can include second, third, fourth year apprentices. They're talking about first year apprentices, so that's a really exciting opportunity for us as an organization over the next few years.
Yeah, you mentioned something really important about the stadium. We're also pursuing big projects at the airport. There's all sorts of cranes downtown. And it's exciting this time of year, the spring, to kind of see a lot of these projects also ramp up even further. So there's a lot of work to do, which makes your work even more important.
Yes.
What's one goal you're working towards in 2026?
Well, I mentioned earlier, it's always about placement.
Yeah.
You know, we need to get people to work, and so one of these years we're going to get all the way to 100 placements in a year. I hope that this is the year to do that.
So you've started to answer this already, but what's one thing that inspires you?
I just think people who are willing to try something really brave, and people who are willing to be bold, who often are confronting very real barriers, they're very, very inspirational to me. Whenever we're in an information session, as I'll be in a little bit later today, we always thank anybody who's signed up for that information session and has been brave enough to cross the threshold and come into our classroom. They're usually thinking about making a really big shift. And the fact that they're putting a little bit of faith and trust in us, people they do not know yet, it's really an honor, and we really are grateful to them. And when they make it all the way through and their life really is transformed, that's really inspiring.
Well, thank you, Keith. Thank you for the empathy with which you lead this organization and all of your partnership, and more to come.
Thank you, Michelle.